Outset, I would like to welcome everybody to this webinar on why do we need to ensure the youth votes. We are the Vasco Free Legal Aid Cell, and we are conducting this webinar as a part of our uh, election literacy awareness campaign, especially targeting the first-time voters. So today we have a lot of first-time voters here who have come to listen to this webinar. Uh, we have two very distinguished speakers here today. We have Mr. Kunal, I.A.S, who is the Chief Electoral Officer of Goa, who will be joining us later in another few minutes because he has some prior commitments he needs to finish. Uh, and then we have the Goan superstar and one of my favorite musicians and singers, Sonia Shirsat, who is the state electoral icon in Goa. She's also internationally acclaimed singer, musician, and a professor of law. So I would like to welcome Sonia Shirsat to the webinar here today. It is our honor to have you, and thank you for accepting to be a part and speak and at this webinar and inspire so many first-time voters to go out and vote.
Thank you,
Uh,
Shobhan. Pleasure's mine. Thank you.
Welcome, Sonia. Uh, so to begin with, I would like to request my member, Riddhi, to please read out the cell report, which basically outlines the activities that our Vasco Free Legal Aid Cell has conducted at the beginning of this academic year till now. Riddhi, if you could please unmute yourself and put on your camera.
Yes, 1 minute. I'm really sorry about that. Yes, good evening, all. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for joining us today. So, I'll not waste much time and I'll just start off with the report of our legal aid cell. So, the Legal Aid Society of VM Salgaocar College of Law, it's not just a part of our curriculum, but it has been a way of life for students and the faculty itself. The Legal Aid Cell, the society promotes excellence in legal education and in pursuit of justice and service to humanity. So, as a part of this legal aid society, we, the members of Vasco Free Legal Aid Cell, in the year 2021 and from the beginning of 2022, have been a part of the following events, the programs which we organize. On 9th of October 2021, induction of new cell members was held by the senior members. A short and sweet welcome for all the new members and was explained how exactly the Vasco Free Legal Aid Cell works along with all the new members, and followed by on 9th of November 2021 and 11th November 2021, two webinars were conducted on the topic cybercrime laws, and target groups for the same was students of Navy Children's School, and we spoke to higher secondary students and secondary respectively. The Legal Aid Society of our college conducted a cell inspection on 13th of November 2021 by our professors Patil Sir, Ranjana, Suchita and Roshan. A minor program for the people of Vasco on 5th of December 2021 was conducted on the topic cybercrime laws, followed by the cell inspection on 18th of December 2021. The cell successfully organized a major program on the topic Goa's mining conundrum. The guest lecturer for the webinar was Padma Shri Madam Norma Alvarez and Sir Rahul Basu, and the proceedings of the same are available and can be viewed on YouTube. In the new year, as a part of election campaign, literacy campaign, we organized two webinars on 4th and 5th of February. on importance of voting and the rights and responsibilities of voters. And the webinars were live streamed and can be viewed again on YouTube. Just like today's program, we are here. We are hoping it will be a very successful major program for us. Ourselves wishes to conduct more and more awareness programs for the people of Vasco and all other target groups. Not just awareness programs, but our cell engages itself and aims towards helping people, providing legal facilities and helping in legal documentation as well. Looking forward for all other activities in future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reddy. I think Kunal sir has joined us. So I would request Kunal sir to please inaugurate the webinar uh, by speaking a few words. Kunal sir.
Thank you, Sherwin, and thank you, our state election icon and one of the famous voice of Goa, Ms. Sonia Shirsat, and all the participant. It's really a great opportunity that Vasco Free Legal Aid Cell of VM Salgaocar College of Law has provided in spreading the voting among youth. For India to grow, the youth have to have a meaningful participation in the process of government. They have to be a major stakeholder in the democracy. And there is no better way than participating in the general elections. It has been efforts and endeavors of our election machinery that youth should come participate. Before that, they should understand the system of elections. For that, we have numerous electoral literacy club in different schools and colleges, which teaches them about the electoral processes, how they should vote, and how meaningfully they can contribute to a democratic development of society. Any society is literate and votes doesn't mean that like it is fully participative. When it comes to voting, it is not merely a selecting a candidate or pushing the button on the EVM. It is a much wider participation, which involves understanding the candidates, understanding the parties, understanding their programs, and making a rational choice without any fear, without any favor, or without any duress. It should be a free exercise of voting power, free will of the exercise of democratic power. That's what we aim for. And to spread awareness among the voters about their candidates, even Election Commission of India has come out with Know Your Candidate app. You can simply go to app and you can check the affidavits of candidates, their criminal records, their educational records, all kind of information is there. So that way, any meaningful participation is only possible when we have complete information about the candidate. Similarly, now political parties are coming with the manifestos. Each voter, each citizen is a major stakeholder in the entire governance of this country. So the efforts have to be that all should read manifesto, understand the candidate's commitment toward the constituency, towards the nation, towards the states, toward the society, and then come to vote. And in today's exercise and today's this webinar, I'm hopeful that under the Vasco Free Legal Aid, they will be educated towards different aspects of voting, electoral processes, campaign processes, and on day of voting, they will come out in large number and they will vote rationally. So with this, I will open the. I congratulate first the Vasco Free Legal Aid Cell and also like their professor of law and our state election icon, Miss Sonia. And now the stage is open to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think most of the first time voters who have joined in this webinar will be inspired to go out and vote. Thank you so much for inspiring all of us. And it was so kind of you to come to this webinar. Uh, and I hope you come for many more in the future that we organize. Thank you so much, sir. So now we move on to
Definitely.
the main event of this webinar. That is the keynote address by Sonia Shirsat. But before Sonia Shirsat speaks, she wants us to listen to two songs that she has sung, creating awareness about elections. So I would request uh, Sheldon to please do the needful and play the two songs. Thank you, Sheldon.
I had a friend, one day he disappeared. I asked them what happened, and they said, ask no question. I had a house, it was burned down. My whole world came down to the ground, and they said, ask no question. Every time a fire broke out, every time a tear was dropped, every time a little child cried out, they said, ask no question. And I learned my lessons this time. I won't let go. My right to vote, I will not let go. My right to vote, my right to vote, my right to vote, I will not let go. I will not let go. My right to vote, will not let go. My right to vote, my right to vote, my right to vote, I will not let go. शिव तुल्या गो शिव तुल्या घाली नका विसर मतदानाच्या दिसा घरच्या सगळ्यांवर हो शिव तुल्या गो शिव तुल्या कर्तव्य तुझे कर मतदानाच्या दिसा घरच्या सगळ्यांवर तूही मतदान कर कर्तव्य तुझे कर.
Thank you, Sheldon. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. First and foremost, thank you very much, Vasco Free Legal Aid Cell. Thank you, Sherwin. Thank you, all of you who are a part of this particular legal aid cell. It feels nice to be at an event of a legal aid cell because I was part of a legal aid cell some years ago. And the activities, of course, now have totally changed their form, but it's very nice to see and nice to hear your report as well. Thank you, Kunal sir. Thank you for giving me this state icon position. It's been um, a lovely journey for many years now. Um, and thank you. It feels good that we can work to get people and get especially the youth into the voting booths on election day. And that's primarily our aim. So not taking much of your time, we would just move. It's a very small presentation, a small talk that I have because um, the idea of elections and the idea of the youth participating in the elections is something that we all talk about all the time. And I'm sure the youth are already fed up of that. And they're going to be listening to more and more lectures on why and how they should vote till the 14th of this month. Why do we need to ensure the youth votes? Why is it important that the youth votes? Yes, sure. Next slide. So, the simple question, why? First and foremost, it's your right. The Constitution has given this right to all of us. The Constitution has blessed us with this right. But we have to remember that along with the rights and along with all the things that the Constitution has conferred upon us, it is more importantly our duty. So when you study in Constitution subject your rights, you also have duties, and therefore voting becomes both in one way. Um, why should you do? Why should you go to vote as a youth? Because we look at you as makers of change. Evolution happens, things change, patterns of life change, systems of business, education, different industries change with time. And you, as the youth, are responsible for the future of your industry. Whether you are into education, whether you are into production, whether you're into agriculture, any industry, any sector, entertainment, hospitality, any field, we look at the youth as the future of that industry, as the future of the state, the future of the country. Therefore, if you are going to be the ones making the change, you also have a very, very important say in the future. And so, voting by the youth is crucial in this point. Every vote counts. We are part of this nation, we are the citizens of this nation, and every vote counts. Therefore, it's, I mean, as simple as that. The big question, why? And in particularly now, we're concentrating more on the youth. So the next slide, Sherwin. So what is so special about the youth vote? So why are we talking about the youth and concentrating so much on youth? So these are the latest, I think, sir, Kunal sir, these are the latest statistics. But roughly, even if they are not the latest or the most accurate, they're quite give you an idea of when you talk about youth, we generally consider 18 to 40. So considering that, the total of the voters was about 4.5 lakhs, and the total of Goa voters is about 11.60. So it's 11 lakh 60,000 roughly. 4.5 lakhs is more than one third. We have to understand why we're talking so much about the youth. Not only because you are going to be the future and you're going to definitely live longer than some of the categories mentioned here on the slide, but because you are more than one third of the population. Some of you are already in, maybe in the touching 30s or late 20s. You're already economically independent. You're already working. You're already earning. Some of you might be studying. So that's not the point. The whole thing is the bunch. It's a chunk of the voters that we have, and it's a very, very big bunch. So we need to see that these 18 to 40 category voters go ahead and vote, because it is the say, it will be the opinion, it will be the view of a big group of voters of our electoral. Yes, the next slide, please. Asking a few students what exactly they feel and why youth vote should be important. I got a few comments, and so I'm going to share the comments with you, and each one of them has a different viewpoint and a very important point there. If I don't do my bit and cast my vote in elections, I have no right to comment on the way the country's future is shaped. So basically, as I said, it's a right and duty. If you do not do your duty, then you're not able to say anything about what happens later. If you have not contributed to something, if you have not participated in something, you cannot stand on the side and pass comments on what's happening and what should be happening and what should be done. So first and foremost, this is a very, very general view. If you do not cast your vote, you cannot pass any comment later. So that's basic. Yeah. Next slide, please. Elected government is important for me for job opportunities that it creates, the foreign alliances it makes, the progressive programs it brings in. Excellently put by this youth, because this youth is already entering his industry. He's already entering the working force. He's already going to contribute to the economy of the country. And he feels that the government elected is very important for these reasons and many others. Therefore, it is important that he casts his vote, because he will be able to choose or at least push the tide towards that sort of a government. So it's not just something that you need to do to get a mark on your finger and then just enjoy the number of likes and shares and whatever on social media. But more importantly, it is you going and casting your vote, thinking of what you want the future of your industry, future of your sector to be like, so that you can at least hope that some of these things which you want get done. Next slide, please. Young voters can make an enormous difference. They're the ones who are the least biased relative to other age groups. We see problems differently and generally are not blind voters. Many a times, I agree with what this youth had to say, because a lot of life teaches you many things and it also makes you biased in many ways. So, at the moment, if you're talking to the youth, let's not get into that. But it is true. Say, being young and with definitely less experience than your seniors or your teachers or your parents or anybody around, it is but natural that you would have less bias. We say children are innocent, so our youth voters, our young voters, our first time voters generally are the innocent voters that we have. And therefore, it'll be a genuine cast of a vote. It will be a genuine interest that that voter will look into while casting the vote. So we get that non-biased vote casted when we have the first time voters, we have the young ones voting. We see problems differently, and we generally are not blind voters. Generally, I totally agree with it. Sherwin is shaking his head, so he also does. Okay, yes, the next ones. I will be voting because I believe this country needs voters with rational minds. Voting is a great responsibility. So this is also linked, this comment is also very similar to the earlier one, where they say it's a rational mind. We're not looking at a biased mind. We're not looking at a dedicated mind. We're not looking at somebody who has already decided that for his lifetime, he is going to be a supporter of a particular candidate or a particular party. You are more open, you are more rational, you are more practical, because you see all the other options and you see it, again, as I said, with an unbiased mind. So the youth looks at voting um, as voting per se, looks at it as casting a vote for the development of the nation. And that is what we require. And that is one thing that is special in this particular age category. So voting is a great responsibility. Yes, sure. We are actually electing our future. It is a fact that young voters impact elections and are the ones who can make a difference. I totally agree with this one. We are electing our future. It's not just a government for 5 years. It's not just a candidate for 5 years, but you are electing your future. If those 5 years are progressive, those 5 years are positive, those 5 years are constructive, the future of your state, the future of your place, the future of your country also gets that much of a better push. If it's going to be 5 years that's not going to be progressive, it's not going to be productive, it's a government that's going to be more chaotic, then the future is not going to look and is not going to be as bright as we hope it should be. So when we cast our vote, we are not just pressing one button and getting one ink mark. We are actually shaping, electing the future. So when we think of all these things, it's very, very important that the youth comes out and votes. Because as I said, and part of these people also said, these youngsters, that it is an unbiased vote. And we need that. There will definitely be part of our electoral population that is already biased for whatever reasons. Either they are super dedicated to a particular candidate or party, as I said, or they have had good or bad experiences in their past and therefore they will vote for a particular candidate. So these are already biased votes, good, bad, whatever. According to them, it's a good, but that's why they're biased towards that candidate. Um, Therefore, we also need a non-biased, practical, sensible, open mind voting category that helps to balance this. Otherwise, it's only if youngsters, if youth, if people with a very unprejudiced look do not go to vote because they think it's useless and it's a repetition of what has happened in the past and it's of why should I waste my holiday and this sort of an attitude, then what's actually going to end up happening is the biased votes is definitely going to go higher and you're sure to get a repetition. So rather than that, if you do not want the future to be something in you that's in your mind, then you need to, as a young voter, as a first time voter, as a voter who's looking at his or her prospects for the future, it is very, very important that you go and cast your vote. Um, I I think that's all that I have to say as far as the youth are concerned, because the youth is, we were always said, youth is the future of the nation, and you are. So you have to make the best use of it while you are in this youth category. Time goes fast. Elections come only once in 5 years, so don't leave that chance. And everything has been so easily, I mean, made so easy, and all the facilities, all the information, you have stuff online. You can get information about your candidate, you can get information about everything that you want online before you go to cast your vote. The election process has been made easy. Keeping COVID in mind, a lot of facilities have been provided. So there's a lot of stuff that has been done to make your election, your voting, a very simple, easy, and encouraging type of a process. So I think you should make best use of it and go ahead and cast your vote as the youth of this nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonia. It was very motivating. I think most of the first-time voters who've come to see this webinar, and I think they are motivated to go out and vote. I think Vasco will have the highest turnout of youth. I hope on the 14th of February. One thing also I would like to commend the Election Commission, the Goa, and Sir Kunal, is that he has also given the old people who cannot, the aged people who cannot go to the polling booth, the facility of voting from their homes. So this is a welcome change, and so many people who were sad that they could not go to vote because of their old age now have the opportunity to vote because the election commission in Goa has given them the opportunity to vote. I open the floor to questions. So if anybody in the audience, any first time voter, any of you have any questions, you can please put it in the chat box. And yes, it is being recorded. Yes, it is being recorded. Uh, any questions? If you have any questions, I think Kunal sir is here. He could answer them really well. And Sonia Shirsat is there. She's the election icon. So if any of you have any questions, please, you can ask them to. Kunal sir, do you have anything to kind of like a comment on what Sonia said, something of the sort?
I want to ask voters, if those who have not voted so far, what will come to your mind when you go to vote?
I have voted twice till now.
So what you felt when you voted first?
When I voted first, I was very proud of myself because I always accompanied my parents to the polling booth, and I always wanted the ink on my finger. So my parents used to normally ask the officer there if my son can just have that ink on his finger, but they rejected, saying that it is not good for a child's skin. So that's why I used to be very dejected and come out. But then I think in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections was the first time that I voted. So it was a proud moment for me. And I looked at various different issues. Like, for example, the first for me very important is environment. And whoever had environment on their agenda was very important for me. So I felt very proud that I voted for the first time in the Lok Sabha elections. And I love parliamentary system and the parliamentary debates. So Lok Sabha election was the first time for me, sir.
Okay, among your friends, who all are there? Would you ask anyone? Who is the first time voter this time?
I'm a first time voter this time.
Yeah, Riddhi. So, like when you are going to enter the polling
Yes.
station, what is going to be in your mind before pressing the button?
That I shouldn't go wrong if I have planned something, because I kind of fear this. If I have decided that I'll be casting my vote to this particular candidate, but I end up casting my vote to someone else, that's the only fear in my mind right now. Plus the pressure seems different because your parents and your siblings, they have been voting since they have turned 18, and they have a better knowledge about how everything is working in Goa and the politics in Goa. You and me on the other side, I'm just picking up things. So what they tell us, what they are discussing, you can't really be a part of it. So there's again, if I decide on my own, should I listen to them or should I just think about it with
How
my
many, like,
knowledge?
Riddhi, since this is the first time you are going to vote,
Yes, sir.
okay, we have come out with the new app that is called Know Your Candidate (KYC).
Oh, okay.
Have you checked about any candidate, about any of their affidavits?
I haven't, but now I will definitely
You
go
must
through it.
do. Yeah. And
Besides the
also read the manifestos. You all are like law students, to law college students. You all must, like at least go through the rigors of these formalities. See, let me tell you, whatever systems we are having today, it all started with a nomination paper, plain 1-2 pages. That's all. But see, with the intervention of, like a lot of I.A.S, Supreme Court directions, this elaborate system of affidavits have come. So this time, we have forced the political parties and candidates to publish their criminal records. You must be now witnessing all the newspaper. There is hardly any news, and it is all about Form C1, C2, C1, C2. Everyone is filing. Why you are choosing this candidate, that candidate, who is having so many criminal records? So this is a like lot of new innovation is there in this election, and you all are really, I'm telling you, those who are first time voter, it is a proud moment. Let me tell you, in 19 election, it was not there. In 17, nothing was there. It was just used to be in one corner of our website. But now so much of you coming to the fore. Agree, Sonia? Remember, like 17 election.
Yes,
So
sir.
I remember.
So I'll make sure I go through it.
Yes, you must.
Also, I'm making sure I'm looking forward for the ink on my finger and a picture on social media.
Yes.
I won't be missing out on that.
No. And mind you, like CEO social media is very much active. Okay.
Yes.
Like our
Yes,
Facebook following is one of the highest in the state. And obviously all the natural one, they are not paid type. They are genuine
They're
followers.
genuine followers.
Yes.
So
And
actually, I am one of those people who just went on your website and downloaded everyone's affidavits to see what are their criminal records, and I was completely shocked. Like criminal records and assets, kitne paas kitna paisa. So I wanted to. That was my. I actually did that. I'm
Yes.
guilty of that.
You must do. Any one of your friend? Anyone? Bright
Uh,
minds?
Anybody? I think we have a couple of people here. Simon, I think, is a first-time voter. She has joined in. So
Miss Coutinho?
anything? Yes. So many of them are here. I think they're shy to literally
No,
put
If
on
you're
their mask.
if you're shy, then how you're going to vote? This is not the time to be shy. You must ask the question from the CEO of the state, an election icon, at least. And then, seriously, Sonia, now I realize, I thought you were a Fadista and then Fadista. I didn't realize that you are a professor of law.
I was. I studied in the same college as these students. VM Salgaocar is my college.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And I taught
Okay.
there for a short while.
Okay.
4
Yes.
years. Yeah.
And Sonia is also my mentor. I've learned a lot from her. So she's to me, she's the best I've as a singer, as a
If I was contesting election, Shervin's vote was mine for sure, right?
100%.
But which seat? That is the issue.
Exactly. I'd have to transfer him to Ponda.
Yes. So I think we don't have any questions or interactions with either Kunal sir or Sonia Shirsat. So what I would like to do is I would like to propose the vote of thanks. So firstly, I would like to thank Mr. Kunal I.A.S, the Chief
Yeah,
Electoral
but
Officer of.
sharing just few more things. Okay, like vote of
Yes.
thanks. Still, we are having some time. Five
Yes, sir.
10 minutes more. Let me ask Ame Pedelkar, Padelkar. How you pronounce it? Ame, would you come online? He's your friend.
I I I think he's from Vasco.
Okay. Or Pratiksha Dabulkar. Their names are coming on the screen.
Yes, Pratiksha, you can unmute yourself. She's from the cell. Pratiksha.
Seems like
Yes,
it's a
Joven.
cell kind of. Pratiksha. So Pratiksha, have you voted earlier?
Yes, sir.
Have you voted earlier? Or this is the first time you're going to vote?
Yes, sir. No, sir. This is my third vote.
Third vote. So when you went for voting first time, what you were feeling? Don't give me bookish answer, okay? It's not like a Miss India or Miss Law contest. Give me a standard answer. What you felt?
So, firstly, I was very much confused. Secondly, I was very much nervous. Like, I should not commit any mistake last moment. That was the only thought that passed my mind.
Hmm.
Um
And like who you first encountered? It is the police person or directly you enter the polling station?
so I didn't get you.
See, when you went to the polling station to vote, there must be some person who was checking your this thing, voter ID, whether you are a voter or not. So who was the first person who you encountered there at the polling station?
So the BLO, the block
Yeah.
level officers.
You know, like was he friendly or unfriendly or was he just so full time?
He was friendly, sir.
Oh, great. That's I really like about BLOs of Goa. You know, they are like real friends of the society. And then when you went inside, like because you know, like similar experience even I had when I went for the first time. First of all, like you know, you are completely a different world. You know, suddenly such a elaborate sitting arrangement is there, and people are waiting for you. Quite unlike other government offices where you must be getting some different feeling. So what you did first? They must have checked your name.
Yes, sir.
Then
They also say very loudly.
Miss Pratiksha has finally arrived, isn't it? Your moment has come. Something like
Yes.
that. Because when they tell your name loudly, when you feel nervous or confused or maybe empowered, so look, you are at the center now. Do you feel like that?
Yes. Yes,
Even
sir.
still,
We feel
you know, even as a CEO, when I go to vote, same feeling even I get. Because they have to follow all the process. Okay, and then did you sign or did you put the thumb imprint?
so signature.
Signature. And when I voted, I remember I was forced to, you know, like do everything. Sign also, thumb also. Okay. So then after that, they must be giving you chit that you go. And then next table, you give the chit and then they apply the ink, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Great. And then you go to the voting compartment thinking about, you know, like, did you remember how many candidates were there before voting?
Sir, no, sir. Hardly I remember only 3 to 4.
Okay. And how many candidates you encountered before voting?
Only 3, 4 which came to my door. I only know them.
Okay. You chose among them or you chose like completely by looking at their manifesto, their social media profile or media profile?
So no, looking their work, the development or the kind of facilities they have provided for the earlier 5 years,
But
what kind of
suppose you're
work they have done.
a completely newcomer then. Suppose like any one among you who is just barely 25. Suppose he or she fights selection, and how would you judge a person like that? Like suppose just for example, Sherwin is becomes 25 years of age. He wants to fight election. So what do you look in Sherwin when you decide about voting?
Maybe what he decides to start working for,
Okay.
So I
or
think
maybe what
political
he's
party.
gonna plan before election, what he's doing before election to
Yes.
attract his voters is what we
Like
can
when
decide
we
on.
candidates, even Instagram profile matters in that way. What attracts?
So not really, considering all the candidates are above 40 and they are not into social media. But not like current. I'm saying current. But if Sherwin decides, yes, his social media would matter because
Because
now
his profile
everyone
is with the
has
guitar, so
Facebook.
like guitar is a winning combination with the candidate.
No, but he maybe ladies might get attracted towards that.
Seriously, so no, like really, this is one of the takeaway that all the candidates must have their Instagram account, and then at least one or two songs they must sing themselves. I
So
think
that would
Sonia,
be
you're having a good
if
chance,
Sonia Shirsat decides to contest, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Any more
Yeah.
like friend? Your friend is there, Sujay, Sujay Madkar, or
So
you are a
Sheldon,
Sheldon, Sheldon Sequeira.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Sheldon. Tell me, have you voted earlier?
Yes, I voted earlier.
How many elections? 17 or 19?
I've voted in 19.
Oh, great.
Probably now twice I have. I'm sorry, once I voted
Once.
before.
And then you must have voted in Jilla Panchayat if you wanted.
Uh, yes, sir. I'd gone there also.
Great, great, great. So when you voted for first time,
Yes, sir.
what you felt basically while going inside?
So basically, when I went the first time, I was trying to see how the whole place was, how the whole election process was, And what I was really intrigued by that time was they introduced EVM machines, and I'm a little on the technology side of things. So I was really inquisitive to see how that works. So it was a very what I found was the system was very nice, wherein first you go, you press the button, and also at the same time when you press the button, you can see a chit of the party you voted for, which gets cut off and falls into the
Compartment.
compartment. So it was like a very good, what do you say? Because I know a lot of people find it difficult to trust technology, and that basically that box of that compartment was wonderful, and that's what I really found very nice.
Yes. That is, like when, fortunately, unfortunately, I was conducting 17 election also. Sonia and I composed nice songs even in that time.
Okay.
And then, like, lot of, see, myself is a social media person. A lot of Goa, the way Goa is,
Right, sir.
all kind of opinion. But then on daily basis, we used to give, like repeated information about how the system work.
Right.
Because this is one of the, I would say, EVM and VVPAT machine, this whole concept is a marvel of Indian technology. Such a simple machine. And there is nothing inside, frankly speaking. If there is something inside, I can understand. It's a very simple machine, intuitive. Just do simple, like plus, nothing.
Right.
You add 1 plus 1. You
Right, sir.
one button, 1 plus 1 another. It doesn't know the candidate. That's the beauty of our EVM. So that way, the philosophy and then philosophy behind this machine, that administrative systems, and then protocols and technology, I would say. Like this machine, this VVM, VVPAT, this work in higher reaches of Himalayas, in JNK and in Himachal, in Arunachal, where they trek for 3 days to take it to the village and come back. To Lakshadweep, where they transport it by boats. To Sundarban Delta, again they transport by boat. In Goa, we are fortunate. Hardly, I think in Diwar, we transport it by ferry. Other-
Okay.
So that way, this machine, like it's amazing, I would say, demonstration of Indian mind, Indian technology, and the system. And same way, I would say that like when I voted yes, it was EVM was introduced, and then even I really felt, when you press the beep, before that you will have the like this thing, little bit nervousness, whether what will happen if the light doesn't blink, you know. So all kinds of it's like examination hall syndrome. You will get little
Right, sir.
you are getting, and after pressing suddenly you feel yes, finally your time has come. It is you who decide, not anybody else. So no, ultimately, Sonia has nicely presented in the beginning why youth should vote. Youth should vote because not because of all the English we say that. Ultimately, today our country is young. Okay, provided what is up to what age we are considering young. I am slightly 40 plus, so whether I belong to young category or middle category. But yes, we are all young by heart. So then, if youth don't participate, democracy in whatever way, it is still the best system. You just look at Pakistan, look at Bangladesh, look at Nepal. What is happening in our neighborhood, Afghanistan? See, 5 months back they had a beautiful presidential system. Today, you just see what is happening there. This participation, like we must never stop because our candidates are coming from your own society. Once we start pushing up good candidates and start selecting better ones, that's what like where information about candidate matter, information about political parties matter. The cynicism is everywhere. It is in everything, in fact. Like when you all are gone, even now I'm here for 6 years, I am half gone that way. So when you see rains, when it's rains for 6-7 months, and I was power secretary last year during cyclone time. It's all when you see why the wire is falling everywhere, why we are having trees. That there is cyclone and then all the trees have fallen over wire line. You can be cynical about trees in that case. If you love nature, then obviously there will be wind. If there is a wind, there will be tree fall, branch fall. Many places, coconut leaves that does the wires and then wire short off. Then the issue comes, and then best is we have Salgaocar, I think belong to Sivanan Salgaocar group, no? Even in their area, they are also one of the most affected by our power cuts. I'm narrating you reason that when you choose something, you can be either cynical about it or you can be either positive about it, and how to make it better. If suppose we are having a power system, we want power, it will come through wire. Wire will come through roads. Roads are narrow, narrow roads, and they're full of trees, full of coconut leaves. So that way, slight rain every day, every year it will grow by 1 feet at least. Today you plant a small tree, it will grow bigger and bigger. So that way, so many things are interconnected, so many things are at interplay that the cynicism or positivity or it's a nature's way. You can say in any way, but we must accept the way things are and how to make it better. That's where the youth role in voting comes. How your agenda can be taken up, how your issues are taken up, and how you can have a meaningful participation, meaningful and positive participation in the society. A lot of things happen when you start preparing for your exam. In law, like now you have become like most of you either at the final year or already like passed out of the college. You want to practice, then you see the real side of the law. When you are reading theory, like it's a completely different world. When you are practicing, it's a different world. When you are providing free legal aid and go to the prisons, you see a different world. Suddenly, when you start fighting their cases as a lawyer, that's a different world. So that way, we have to accept the way first things are. Then, as a youth, how to improve it. And when you vote, Ultimately, all candidates, every candidate require a number. If your number is there, your agenda will be there. Like when we pushed for involvement of persons with disability in our electoral role, initially our own officers were cynical. They are whatever words they use. I say that, see, unless they are declared mentally unsound by the competent court of law under competent act, you don't have any right to say no. Then add everyone who is evaluating. The thing is, now when they are having a proper size, then they become, their issues have to be taken up. It can't be left out. So that way, if you want your issues to be taken up, become a voice. There's nothing becoming nothing better than participating in the election. That's why we must participate, to let your voice be heard where it matters. If you don't vote, only you are to be blamed. If you vote, your voices will be heard. That's all. That's a simple equation. It's nothing but a power game, where you derive power through your vote. And ensure that when you vote rationally, see what is good for you, what is good for your society, what is good for your nation. That's what I mean by voting. That's what I feel for by voting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It was really lovely what you said. Uh, so I think nobody else has any questions, so we should move on to the vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to thank Kunal sir. I think not many legal aid cells in our college would have the distinction of having Kunal sir addressing their webinar and motivating students to vote and young first timers to vote. So I would like to thank Kunal sir for making time out of his busy schedule. The elections, I think, 4 to 5 days away, and Kunal sir took time out of his busy schedule and he addressed this webinar for so much time. Thank you so much. I'm eternally grateful to you. All of us at the cell are eternally grateful to you. I would like to thank Sonia Shirsat, who also took time out of a busy schedule to address this webinar. And being the icon, she has motivated not only the people in this webinar, but thousands of other young voters to go out and vote and to make their voice heard. I would like to thank the director of our Legal Aid Society and the principal of our VM Salgaocar College of Law, Dr. Shabir Ali, for supporting us in every endeavor that we undertake. He is very supportive of us. I would also like to thank Professor Roshant Parwar, who is also present at this meeting. Professor Roshant has always supported me and always said, Shavin, you go ahead. And even if it is a very controversial issue, a contentious issue, you take it up and you make the people aware of it if it's a legal right involved. And sir has always been there for me. I would like to thank all the members of my cell who have joined in today and have supported me with various things and planning of this webinar. Thank you all. So now I would like to request Kunal sir and Sonia Shirsat to please wait back to click a photograph with the members of the cell. And I would request all those who are not a member of the cell to please leave the meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in.